Leviticus 26. God is now going to teach us about obedience and disobedience. Which is weird because I thought that's kind of what this whole book was about. Do not make idols or set up an image or a sacred stone for yourselves, and do not place a carved stone in your land to bow down before it. I am the Lord your God. Are we seriously doing this again? This has to be like the 8th time hearing this. God is more obsessed with idols than everyone who's ever been on Survivor. Observe my Sabbaths and have reverence for my sanctuary. I am the Lord. If you follow my decrees and are careful to obey my commands, I will send you rain in its season, and the ground will yield its crops and the trees their fruit. Your threshing will continue until grape harvest, and the grape harvest will continue until planting, and you will eat all the food you want and live in safety in your land. I've said this before, I'll say it again. What is the point of farming if God can just make sure everyone has good crops and trees bearing fruit? Like, they can all just sit around and do nothing, right? Why are we threshing? I will grant peace in the land, and you will lie down, and no one will make you afraid. I will remove wild beasts from the land, and the sword will not pass through your country. You will pursue your enemies, and they will fall by the sword before you. 5 of you will chase 100, and 100 of you will chase 10,000, and your enemies will fall by the sword before you. It's very nice for God to say he's got everyone's back, and their enemies will be murdered by the tens of thousands. How the hell do you make that many enemies anyway? I don't even have one nemesis, and I try really hard to get them. I'm on YouTube. That alone should generate like 8 people who have nothing better to do than comment on these commentaries. These Bible people are just sitting on their farms all day without social media, and they have thousands of haters. Am I jealous? A little bit, yes. I will look on you with favor and make you fruitful and increase your numbers, and I will keep my covenant with you. You will still be eating last year's harvest when you will have to move it out to make room for the new. I will put my dwelling place among you, and I will not abhor you. I will walk among you and be your God, and you will be my people. I am the Lord your God who brought you out of Egypt so that you would no longer be slaves to the Egyptians. I broke the bars of your yoke and enabled you to walk with heads held high. We know, God, you're the coolest. Thanks for everything, especially letting us eat last year's food. That was awesome. But if you will not listen to me and carry out all these commands, and if you reject my decrees and abhor my laws and fail to carry out all my commands and so violate my covenant, then I will do this to you. I will bring on you sudden terror, wasting diseases and fever that will destroy your sight and sap your strength. You will plant seed in vain because your enemies will eat it. I will set my face against you so that you will be defeated by your enemies. Those who hate you will rule over you, and you will flee even when no one is pursuing you. Holy crap. God just finished telling us how much he loved us, then followed it up with a massive threat that involves terror, diseases, fever, blindness, weakness, and all the other side effects of prescription drugs. I do appreciate how God gave up halfway through that rant, though. I'm gonna torture you and weaken you, and then, your enemies will eat your seeds. Yeah! Why would we flee if no one's pursuing us? That one's just weird. If after all this you will not listen to me, I will punish you for your sins 7 times over. I will break down your stubborn pride and make the sky above you like iron and the ground beneath you like bronze. Your strength will be spent in vain, because your soil will not yield its crops, nor will the trees of your land yield their fruit. Someone failed at slam poetry. God threatens to make the sky like iron and the ground like bronze? I mean, what does that mean? Interestingly enough, in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 23, we'll get there, We are told disobedience will lead to the sky being bronze and the ground being iron, because no one in this damn book can keep anything straight. And why punish us 7 times over? 7 is so arbitrary. I know God's used that number before, but it is random. Twice as harsh would have accomplished the same goal, but God jumped to 7 like a maniac. If you remain hostile toward me and refuse to listen to me, I will multiply your afflictions 7 times over as your sins deserve. I will send wild animals against you, and they will rob you of your children, destroy your cattle, and make you so few in number that your roads will be deserted. Remember last chapter when we were supposed to charge only what something was worth and no more because that was the fair thing to do? And now God says if we sin, he'll punish us 7 times as harshly. And then he's gonna send a bear to eat our children because you can't go overboard, but God always can. And once again, God gave up on his threat halfway through. I'm gonna multiply your afflictions and send animals after your kids, and then I'm gonna get rid of traffic. Yeah! That's not a threat, God. You could do that right now. Please do that right now. If, in spite of these things, you do not accept my correction but continue to be hostile toward me, I myself will be hostile toward you and will afflict you for your sins 7 times over. And I will bring the sword on you to avenge the breaking of the covenant. When you withdraw into your cities, I will send a plague among you, and you will be given into enemy hands. When I cut off your supply of bread, 10 women will be able to bake your bread in one oven, and they will dole out the bread by weight. You will eat, but you will not be satisfied. God did it again! I'm gonna punish you with my sword, and then I'm gonna send a plague, and then a bunch of women will make bread in your oven, and you can eat it, but you won't love it. Damn it! God is so bad at scaring people. Then again, 10 women baking bread with one oven could be trouble. It's like having 3 daughters and 1 bathroom. There will be arguments. Well played, God. I guess it is a form of torture to put 10 people in a kitchen with just 1 appliance. At least it can't get worse than that. If, in spite of this, you still do not listen to me, but continue to be hostile toward me, then in my anger I will be hostile toward you, and I myself will punish you for your sins 7 times over. You will eat the flesh of your sons and the flesh of your daughters. I will destroy your high places, cut down your incense altars, and pile your dead bodies on the lifeless forms of your idols, and I will abhor you. I will turn your cities into ruins and lay waste your sanctuaries, and I will take no delight in the pleasing aroma of your offerings. I myself will lay waste the land so that your enemies who live there will be appalled. I will scatter you among the nations and will draw out my sword and pursue you. Your land will be laid waste and your cities will lie in ruins. Then the land will enjoy its Sabbath years all the time that it lies desolate and you are in the country of your enemies. Then the land will rest and enjoy its Sabbaths. All the time that it lies desolate, the land will have the rest it did not have during the Sabbaths you lived in it. Jesus, this got dark. God's so angry at us that we will be forced to eat the flesh of our children, and we're supposed to feel bad because God's not gonna like the smell? But at least our land will get to take a vacation while we're being chased by our enemies? As if that's supposed to make us feel worse? I don't understand. I can't believe the Bible is just glossing over eating our own children. We're really not gonna talk about that anymore? It's a done deal. Also, if we eat the flesh, how is God gonna pile the dead bodies on the idols? There are no more bodies, God. We ate them. You're just creating a pile of bones. Do I need to teach him everything about being a serial killer? As for those of you who are left, I will make their hearts so fearful in the lands of their enemies that the sound of a wind-blown leaf will put them to flight. They will run as though fleeing from the sword, and they will fall. Even though no one is pursuing them, They will stumble over one another as though fleeing from the sword, even though no one is pursuing them. So you will not be able to stand before your enemies. You will perish among the nations. The land of your enemies will devour you. Those of you who are left will waste away in the lands of their enemies because of their sins. Also, because of their ancestors' sins, they will waste away. God's gonna make us so scared that a leaf will frighten us and we'll trip while we run away. You gotta hand it to medieval people. At least they knew how to torture their enemies. God is really bad at this game. But if they will confess their sins and the sins of their ancestors, their unfaithfulness and their hostility toward me, which made me hostile toward them so that I sent them into the land of their enemies, then, when their uncircumcised hearts are humbled and they pay for their sin, I will remember my covenant with Jacob, and my covenant with Isaac, and my covenant with Abraham, and I will remember the land. For the land will be deserted by them, and will enjoy its Sabbaths while it lies desolate without them. They will pay for their sins because they rejected my laws and abhorred my decrees. Yet in spite of this, when they are in the land of their enemies, I will not reject them or abhor them so as to destroy them completely, breaking my covenant with them. I am the Lord their God, but for their sake I will remember the covenant with their ancestors whom I brought out of Egypt in the sight of the nations to be their God. I am the Lord. These are the decrees, the laws, and the regulations that the Lord established at Mount Sinai between himself and the Israelites through Moses. Uncircumcised hearts. I did not know that was a thing. But you know what? I oppose it on principle. We absolutely should not remove the foreskin of your aorta. Are we supposed to thank God for not rejecting us despite our disobedience? Because I'm still kind of mad at having to devour my infants a few minutes ago. Yeah, that's right. I haven't forgotten, Bible. Alright, I am very scared of disobeying God. If he's not happy with me, he's gonna murder my kids, send a plague, and make me eat mediocre bread. At least one of those things is extremely unacceptable, because I deserve only the finest treats at the Israeli Olive Garden.